Hello students. So yesterday we had seen that of the characteristic of a living things. So we studied that the growth which occurs in that of the living organisms, and we came to know that the growth is due to the division of the cell. Cell division is the responsible for the growth of the living organism. While in case of the non-living thing, since there is no such kind of a division occur in it, that's why no growth is possible, no increase in size is possible, and that's why we characterize them as a non-living thing. Okay? As well as we came to know about the movement. The human beings, the animals, even the parts of the plant, as they remain fixed, but the parts of the plant, you see, they show movement. Human being, animals, they used to change their place from change their position from one place to the another by movement, by locomoting. Okay, so we studied that the movement by its own, without any external force applied, if it occurs only in the living organism. While in case of that of the non-living thing, when we apply an external force, only then a non-living thing can move. Now today we will continue with the other characteristics of the living things. Response to stimuli. So this is the fourth characteristic property of a living organisms. So see student, all the living things, they respond to the changes around them. Whatever the changes occurring in the surrounding, living thing, they respond. And the changes in surrounding to which our living thing respond, we use the term, yesterday also I said that is stimuli. Stimuli, the plural, you will see in some book it is written as stimulus. Okay, so the living thing, they show response to external stimuli like that of the heat or light, touch, sound, smell, taste, water, chemicals. So the response of the living thing is always or is usually in the form of some movement of their body part. So we respond to the external stimuli. Okay, anything that causes change, we respond to them, and this response causes the movement in our body. If suppose yesterday also I had taken the same example, you can see student, if suppose if you touch a hot pan, okay, or you touch a very hot object accidentally, then what happened, you will quickly pull out your hand away from that of the hot object. So in this case the stimulus is heat, and the response is given by the man. So the man respond by moving his hand away from the hot object. Okay, so in this case the stimulus is heat and the man is responding. Not only this, if suppose a person is, if a barefooted man steps on a sharp object like that of the nail or a thorn, then what happens? He will quickly pulls away his foot away from that of the sharp object. So in this case, the stimulus is the pain which is produced by the sharp object, because when your feet will put on that of the thorn or the nail on the sharp object, then you will feel pain, and that pain is the stimulus, and response is the man when he move his foot away from the sharp object. Now, if you take in case of the plant also students, you see the plants, if you keep plant in a, if you keep plant in a dark room, in a dark place, then you will see the plant shoot will start bending towards the light. So this movement is the response, and the Stimulus is the sunlight. The same thing happened with the human being also. If suppose you move from a dark place into a bright sunshine suddenly, okay, if you are going outside from your house to in a afternoon, in a summer afternoon, then what happened, your eyes it shut themselves automatically for a moment. Okay, so why is it so? They This is what the shutting of your eyes is the response, and the stimulus is the sunshine. Okay, the same thing, the opposite is also the same. Like if suppose you are coming from a bright light and enter into a dark place, then what happen, your eyes it becomes bigger, you are not able to see the thing properly. Okay, so what is this is the kind of a stimulus. Or if suppose you see your favorite food, then what happen, your mouth start watering. So the sight of the favorite food is the stimulus, and watering of the mouth is the response to it. Not only to that of the human being, the animals which is around us, they also respond to the stimulus. Like if we move towards a bird, then what happens, the bird flies away. So what is the stimulus here, it is the fear, and the response given by the bird by moving away, by flying away. Okay, there are some animals also who respond to the light. You see, there are some animals who do not like light, like that of the cockroach or the earthworm. So you see, the cockroach and the earthworm, they always try to go away from the light to the darkness. For example, if suppose when the light in the kitchen is switched on at night, then you see the cockroaches begin to run their places of hiding in the kitchen where light cannot reach. So in this case also the stimulus is the light, but the cockroaches respond by moving away from it. That is the response given by the cockroaches. If we talk about the plant, you see here student, this is the Mimosa pudica. In Hindi we called it a chui mui. Okay, so the plant also responds to the change around them. They respond to the stimuli, like they respond to to that of the touch or the sunshine or the gravity, water and the chemical. So if we talk one by one, then we will able to understand that how plant respond to the stimuli. So you know student, the sunlight, if we keep a potted plant in the open stem, then you will find the stem of the plant, it grows straight up. Okay, it grows straight up, you can see here. Okay, but if the stem of the plant is kept to the inside to a room and the light is coming from a window, then you will find that these plant, they are coming that these sunlight which is coming from the window, the plant will bend towards the light, which shows that the plant is showing a response. It is the sunlight is a stimuli and plant is showing the response. The same thing happened with that of the Mimosa pudica. So if you see here student, if suppose you touch this plant, then what happened, it is very sensitive plant, which that's why the name is also touch me not. In English we called it a touch me not. Mimosa pudica is a biological name. Okay, by a normal the term we use for this plant is touch me not. So when you touch this plant, then what happen, when you touch it, then what happen, it will fold its leaves. Okay, so it leaves, it get fold up and droop. Okay, so in this case, the touch of the finger is the stimulus, and the mimosa plant, which responds by folding its leaf, is the response showing by it. So you see here, the stimulus is what a change is occurring and to which our body, to which a living organism responds. That stimulus, it can be sunlight, it can be gravity. You see the roots, they always go deep inside. It is due to the that they are showing the response to that of the gravity. Stimulus is the gravity or water. Okay, sunlight is there and the chemicals also. Okay, so these are, and as well as the touch. So these are the things to which a plant as well as the animals, human beings, they respond according to that. So this is the fourth characteristic in which we respond to the stimuli. But have you seen a non-living thing show such kind of a response? No. They will remain the same even any change occurs surrounding them. So they will not respond to that of the any kind of a change or any kind of a stimulus. Now we will move to the next property, next characteristic of a living being, and that is respiration. Respiration is what, student? It is a chemical process in which food is taken by an organism, and how the this food is later on oxidized. It means the food which is taken by the organism, it combines with the oxygen to release energy. Okay, so it is a process, it is a chemical process in which food combined with the oxygen, and because of that it releases energy. Now the energy which is used, which is released due to this oxidation process, is later on used up by the organism to carry out its various life process. Carbon dioxide and water, these are the also the different product which is formed in the process of respiration. Okay, so we can say that a respiration is a process in which oxygen is used up, oxygen as well as that of the food, this, that is glucose. Okay, we take from food, we obtain glucose. So this glucose, with the help of oxygen, it combined with it, and later on it releases energy, and carbon dioxide and water is also released from it. Okay, now the process of respiration, it always take place inside the body of the plant or the animals. Okay, so it always take inside the part, inside the plant or animals. Now the question arises, if the respiration is like that, then what is breathing? Here also in respiration, we are taking the oxygen. So what is the difference between in that of the breathing and the respiration? In both of the cases, we are using the oxygen. So you see, student, in case of a breathing, when we talk about the breathing, breathing is what? When our body take in oxygen from air for respiration, at the same time it gives out carbon dioxide which is produced by the respiration. So this exchange of the gases take place in our lungs, and the process of taking air into the lungs through nose and then expel it through nose is called breathing. I'll explain in your very simple words. That is, breathing is what? It is the exchange of the gases only, taking up of the oxygen and releasing of the carbon dioxide defines breathing. You know, student, we breathe. Whenever we use the term we breathe, what does that mean? That we are taking oxygen and we are releasing carbon dioxide. That is breathing. And this process of breathing, it occurs in our lungs. Lungs is responsible for taking the carbon dioxide and releasing it, taking the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. So exchange of gases, it is defined by breathing. Now, respiration is what? When this oxygen, by the process of the breathing, we take in the lungs, from the lungs, it goes to the cell, and here it combines with the food, and finally it releases the energy. Okay, in spite of the energy, it also releases two more substances, that is carbon dioxide and water. Now, this carbon dioxide, which is released in the cell, it again goes to the lungs, and from the lungs it comes to the nose and come outside. So you see, at the same time, the oxygen is taken for the respiration, and carbon dioxide, which is produced in the respiration, is expelled out through that of the lungs through nose. Okay, so basically breathing is what? It is the exchange of gases only, but respiration is used up of the oxygen, and this oxygen combined with the food helping in releasing of the energy and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide again goes to the lungs, and it will come out with the help of our nose. Understood, student? So respiration is there, which releases energy. It is important since it releases energy. Breathing, it is a process in which exchange of gases take place, taking of oxygen and giving out of the carbon dioxide. Now, when we breathe in, the air moved from the outside to the inside of our body, and when we breathe out, then the air moved from the inside of our body to the outside. Okay, so when we breathe in, the oxygen is taken up from the atmosphere, and it will goes to the lungs. Okay, from the lungs it will goes to the cell for the process of respiration. But when we breathe out, again air comes from the inside to our body to the outside, and that is carbon dioxide, which was released by the respiration, which came to the lungs, and finally it comes out. So the purpose of the breathing in air is to provide oxygen to our body for carrying out respiration. So you see, student, the basis of the respiration, it is due to the breathing. We breathe because of that respiration process occur. How? You see, respiration is what? In which we use the oxygen which combined with the food to release energy and carbon dioxide. So before that, what we have to do? We have to breathe in. So when we breathe in, the oxygen from the atmosphere will goes to the lungs, to the cell. Until and unless we will not breathe in, how the oxygen will reaches to the lungs? To that of the cells? So the basis, the purpose of the breathing air is to provide oxygen to our body, which help to carry out the process of respiration. Now, when we talk about the respiration, student, some of the oxygen of the air which we breathe in is used for producing energy from food, as well as it produces a gas, that is carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide, it is also acting as a waste product, because you know, student, we don't need carbon dioxide. It is a kind of a waste product of our body. There is no use of a carbon dioxide for us. Okay, so what we do, we will breathe out the carbon dioxide during respiration. So we breathe in to take oxygen, and we releases the carbon dioxide, which is a waste product, and it is expelled from our body through the process of respiration, and finally we breathe out for releasing the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Okay, now you see, how can you if you see a person, how will you determine that person is breathing or not? So by looking at the animal, you will see that in animal a slow up and a down movement of their abdomen that indicate that they are breathing. Okay, you can see if a person is sleeping, then you will be able to find it more, because at that time the person will take a deep breath. Okay, so at that time you will see that the abdomen is moving up and down, and that indicate that the person or the animal is breathing. So the process of breathing or the respiration, it involves exchange of gases. This is because during this process oxygen is given to the body cells and carbon dioxide is removed. Now if you see, this is the case for the human beings. Okay, in most of the human beings, that process, in the human being, the process is the same. Okay, where we take the oxygen and we releases the carbon dioxide, which is acting as a waste product. Different animals, they are having a different mechanism for breathing. Okay, so they breathe by different mechanism. They are not doing the same kind of a breathing, that is from with the help of a nose to the lungs to the different cells. Their breathing process is different. Now if you see in case of the earthworm, so how breathing occur in case of the earthworm? So the earthworm, they breathe through its skin. The skin of an earthworm, it is quite thin and moist. Okay, moist, it means consisting of a liquid. So it is very thin and it is moist, as well as it is having a very good supply of blood. So it is thin, moist, has a good blood supply, so that the earthworm absorbs oxygen needed for respiration through its skin, through its thin and that of the moist skin, and the carbon dioxide which is produced during respiration is expelled out. Okay, is expelled from the body of the earthworm through its skin. So in earthworm, you see the gaseous exchange, it take place through its skin itself. Okay, so skin is that part from which the earthworm breathe. Okay, so with the help of the skin only, the exchange of the gases, that is taking up of the oxygen and releasing of the carbon dioxide, occur in case of earthworm. Okay, so it breathe through skin, it remain moist. Okay, so this oxygen which is taken up by that of the earthworm, it help in the process of respiration, and due to which the energy is released. But the taking up of the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is different. Here the breathing process, that is the absorption and evolution of the gases, occur by the help of the thin and the moist skin of the earthworm. Okay students, now if we talk about the another animal, and that is fish. So I think you all are knowing that fish has a special organ of breathing, that is called gills. Because of the gills only, the fish, they are able to breathe in water, and because of the presence of the lungs, we are not able to breathe in the water. So what is the role of the gills here students? The gills, you see here, water flows through the mouth. Water is going through the mouth to that of the gills of the fish. Now what is the function of the gills here? Gills absorbs the oxygen dissolved in water. So this water, it is consisting of the oxygen. Okay, so it is consisting of the oxygen. That oxygen dissolved water is absorbed by the gills. Now the fish breathes by taking in water through the mouth. You see here, this water is going through the mouth and sending this water over the gills. Now, when the water it passes over the gills, this gill it extracts the dissolved oxygen from this water. Okay, so the water which is going through that of the in the mouth, this is sent to that of the gill, and the gills they extract the oxygen from the water, because I told you that this water consisting of the oxygen. Okay, so it will absorb the oxygen from the water. Okay, and this oxygen is used for the respiration in the fish. Now what about the carbon dioxide? The carbon dioxide which is produced during respiration, it is expelled by the gills into the surrounding water. Okay, so here you will see the water it goes inside, the gills are presented, and the gill it takes the water. You can see here water is there, gills take the water consisting of a dissolved oxygen. So gills take out the oxygen from the water, and that oxygen is later on goes to the body cells where the respiration process occur. And after respiration, you know, the carbon dioxide is formed. So the carbon dioxide which is produced during respiration, it is expelled by the gills into the surrounding water. So after respiration, this carbon dioxide again it comes to the gills, and the gills will throw that carbon dioxide into the water. Now see, the fish has no lungs like us, so the gaseous exchange it is taken by this special organ that is known as gills. Okay students, now we will talk about the plants. Now, like we always say that a human being or the animal, they respire just to get energy. Now plant also need energy. So plant get this energy by the process of respiration. So what happen in the plant? The plant they uses oxygen. You know that student that for the process of a respiration, the oxygen is necessary. So the plant they use oxygen for respiration, and they release carbon dioxide in the process. Okay, so every leaf of the plant they are having a large number of stomata. Teeny pores are there, teeny holes are there, which is we call as stomata, which is present on the surface of the leaves. So the oxygen it enters the plant leaf through stomata, and this oxygen it is utilized in the process of respiration. Now the carbon dioxide is the resultant of that of the process of respiration. So this carbon dioxide which is produced during respiration inside the plant is again expelled from the leaves through stomata. Okay, so the oxygen is get inside to the plant for the process of respiration is through the help of the hole that is present on the upper surface of leaf called stomata, and later on after respiration the carbon dioxide which is produced after this during the respiration, it also get expelled through stomata. So we can say the stomata is that site where the exchange of the gases takes place. Now what happened? You know student that in plants there are two processes occur. The first one is the photosynthesis and the second one is the respiration. So we know that for the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is necessary. So it takes carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. And now I am saying the respiration process also occurred. So you see in plants, both of the thing occurred. Photosynthesis also occurred as well as the process of respiration also occurs. Okay, so during daytime, When sunlight is available, the plant they uses carbon dioxide from the air to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis and release oxygen gas into the air. Okay, so during daytime you see it takes sunlight, it takes sunlight, it takes water as well as that of the carbon dioxide is used up by the plant. These three things is used up by the plant and for the process of photosynthesis, and by which food is prepared, sugar is formed, as well as oxygen is there which is released into the air. This happened during the daytime where the rate of photosynthesis is higher. Now, the amount of oxygen which is produced by the plant during photosynthesis in daytime is much more than the oxygen that they use in the respiration. So what happened at the night time, students? Night time, the rate of the photosynthesis will be low because there is no sunlight, and you know the process of photosynthesis, it always occur in the presence of a sunlight, and that is why during daytime photosynthesis can occur. So here now plant start taking up oxygen, and this oxygen is used up in releasing the energy. It helps in carrying the process of respiration. So you see that photosynthesis in plant occur during the daytime, while the respiration it occur during the night time. Okay, now see here student, we never said that the this respiration process occur only at night time. It also occur during the daytime. It means the process of respiration it takes place during the daytime as well as at the night time. But the photosynthesis process it takes place only in the presence of sunlight when it is available, and that is it occur only during the daytime. Okay, although the amount of oxygen which is produced by the process of photosynthesis is much more than the oxygen which is used up by the plant during respiration. So plant it releases oxygen as well as it take up oxygen during the process of respiration. But amount of releasing oxygen during the process of photosynthesis is much more than the amount of oxygen which is used up in the process of respiration. So by this process the plant also breathe. Okay, as well as shows the process of respiration.